Okay, so the next thing, let's talk about method override. Method override, again, that deals with two classes. Okay, so here, because we only have one class, in order for method override to work, you have to have a relationship between one class and another class. So you have to establish that child-parent relationship. So let's go ahead and create another class over here. Right click and add a new class. Maybe not on the program itself, but on the project name. Add a new class. And in the class here, instead of car, we'll call this vehicle class. Okay. So the vehicle class is something kind of broad. So you could turn this to an abstract class, but let's just say it's a vehicle class. Okay, because a vehicle class is a class that can be used to shared, right? You can use it to share by subclasses. Like for example, a truck class can be a vehicle. Bicycle can be a vehicle. So is motorcycle. So this class is much broader. So really, this could be created into an abstract class, right? But let's just say that it's a class you can create a vehicle out of. And this vehicle class has some properties that are common to the truck and maybe like the truck and let's just think about truck, car, and let's say motorcycle, maybe engine type of cars. Okay, so what do they have? Well, they have something like these, right? These could be common. So I'm gonna move this out to the vehicle class. So they all have those. So now the cars class, okay, can be a subclass of the vehicle class. And I think C# you put the colon here, that means extends the vehicle class. Okay, so this colon here means this is the parent class, or we call this the superclass or the base class, and this is the subclass or child class, okay, or the derived class. No, this is a derived class. So a lot of names. So now, because the car is now a subclass of the vehicle class, as you can see, everything here still works, right? Because it have access to all the things inside the vehicle class, all these properties here, plus all these functions on its own. So if I go back to the program, and if you run this file, you see that everything still works just fine. Okay? And because of this relationship between the car and the vehicle, because a car is a vehicle, so you establish what's called an is-a relationship. So I'll put it here, car extends or inherits the vehicle class from an is-a relationship. Okay? So now, if you look at this down here, this get mileage, right? This is a local function inside the car class. Let's just say in the vehicle class, I have a function, a public function called maybe start. So a void. I'm just starting engine, and it would output a message say engine starts, right? So I would just say start. It's like, how do you start? I'll just put a message. How do you start the engine? So I'll put here a console message. Engine start in vehicle class. So we can know where this one is coming from. Okay? So the start. Even though the car doesn't have the function here, I can use it from over here. So I could write below the Camry, and I'll say I'll write this message. Oh, this Camry dot. You can see it says engine. This is start, right? This is start function here. Okay, I can call the start function directly from here. Maybe it should be a bit more specific. It's just start engine. Okay, start engine. And then over here, I can say start engine. So even though I don't have this function inside the car class, because the car is a child of the vehicle, I can reach up to the parent class and call the function. So typically, Camry is a car. It would go into the car class, look for a function called StartEngine. It doesn't have it. Then it looks to the parent because it has a parent class. It goes up to the parent class and looks in there. Oh, there's the engine class, a function, calls that. If this one doesn't have it, and if it's a child class of another class, it will keep go up the chain until it finds one. Okay, and so that's why it is able to do that. When I run this program just for the Camry, you will see the message saying engine start in the vehicle class. Okay? So now, in the car class, I could have the same function. I can copy this and put in the car class. I'll put it right up here. Maybe right in the bottom. Okay. And here it says it's inherited. Remember, use a null keyword if hiding was intended. Okay, that's fine. So let's just say I'm going to write engine start from the car class. And then if I go back here and if I run this program, you'll see that the output now says engine start in the car class, not in the vehicle class anymore, right? So this is an example of override, method override, overriding parent's method. So I'm using the same function. Usually it has a override here. So that's the decorator, I think. Yeah, this override somewhere. I don't remember where it is, but anyway, so I'm overriding the parent's method. It has the same name as the parent, and I'm changing the way it works for this car. Yeah, just put a statement, but you could say, you know, if this is a motorcycle, we use start differently. If this is a different car, you do differently. Like how do you start the engine, right? If it's a regular car, you would use the key and turn on the ignition. If it's a car that has a push button, then you push button, but it's still start engine. So start engine is the name, the same name. You have different ways how to start engine for this car. A truck might be a different way how to start it, right? A boat, it's also a vehicle. A plane can also be a vehicle, and they start differently, but it's all start engine, turn off engine, and things like that. Okay, so this is method override parent's method. Okay, this is between two classes. Okay. Alright, so that's how you do it. Because the Charger and the Camry is the same class, then they have their own way of doing things. I could have another one, just to really quick. So add a new class here, and we'll call this, you know, plane, the plane class. And this plane class also extends the vehicle class. Okay. And here I have the same StartEngine in the plane class. So now in the program over here, I'll have a new plane. And let me copy this and put it down here. I'll turn off the charger for now. Just the camera in the plane. So here I put the plane of the plane class. Okay, so new plane. I don't have any constructor, so just put the plane with blank, the default constructor. But let's just go with this function that start the car, the engine. So I can say plane start engine. Okay. So if I run this, you'll see that the car calls the car class, the plane calls the plane class. Start the engine in the plane class. Okay. And the two classes, the plane is a subclass of the vehicle, and so is the car. And so they both have access to the function called start engine, and it starts its own engine in a different way. It also have access to all these information here. If you would put that in there, it will still work. It's just that there's no no information here, right? It'll be the default. It doesn't make sense in this case. But you see that if I put plane, because it belongs to the same vehicle class. So if I save this, I don't have an MPG inside my plane, so I'm gonna remove that. So the MPG could be moved into the vehicle, and then they'll be okay. But for now, it doesn't have it. So it takes the default, which is a Ford. I guess I didn't set that in. But you can see it has all this information. I didn't supply them, and that's because in the plane class I did not have a constructor like I did in the vehicle class, right? Like this here. Okay, I could if I move this out. You know what I mean? If I move this out to the vehicle class out here, if we make this is the vehicle. Okay, if I save that and save the car class, yeah, and then if I run this, you'll see that the plane uses the parent's constructor, okay, to construct the vehicle, the plane, and adds this default data to the plane. In this case, it doesn't make sense, but just showing you that that's how they are related. The parent class have a constructor already, even though it's called vehicle. The plane doesn't have one. Then it's going to go to the parent's class and use its constructor to build the data. Okay? If it doesn't have one. So it's very powerful stuff. I know it's very confusing sometimes, but I just wanted to show you the concept of method override, constructor override, and overload. Overload, method overload, and method override. Okay, overload again. It's functions in the same class, had different signature, same function name. Method override is function in the parent and the subclass, child class, and the child class can implement its own methods, functions inside here, its own implementation, and can completely bypass the parent's class functions. Okay. All right. Thank you. If you have any questions, again, post a comment or send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to answer you. Thank you so much.